Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Karina Farhana binti Khairul Azam and my metric number is 288276. So today I will begin our presentation. Based on DAS 2014, performance appraisal is one of the performance management key elements. It is a formal structured system that measures and evaluates employees' job-related behavior and outcomes of their tasks in order to determine how and also why the employee can perform their job in a more effective and efficient way in the future so that the employees, the organization and the society will all get benefited. It will describe the employee's strengths and the weaknesses through the evaluation so that the employer can give their feedback and the right coaching for the employee in order for them to improve their performance at work. The evaluation usually will be held once a year, or in other words, it is an annual evaluation. Some companies will also conduct their performance appraisal more frequent, such as once per quarter. Performance assessments are often created by human resource or HR department as a tool for employees to improve in their career. Based on TERA 2023, performance evaluation aid in selecting how to use a company's limited incentive budget, such as raises and bonuses. Furthermore, they provide businesses with a tool for identifying the employees who have made the greatest contribution to company growth, allowing them to appropriately reward their top performer. Employees and managers can also use performance review to discover their area for improvement and career progression, as well as to build a strategy for the employees' development through additional training and increased responsibility. Organization usually uses this assessment to get the insight into an employee's contribution, allowing management to enhance working conditions, address behavioral concern, recognize employee abilities, assist skill and career development, and improve strategic decision making. While the system uses for employee to recognize and thank them for their accomplishment, identifying opportunities for promotion or bonuses assist them in obtaining training or education to advance their career, identify areas for improvement, encourage and also involve them in their career development, and begin conversation about long-term goals. There are a few types of performance appraisal system that are commonly used by the organization, and one of it is the 360-degree appraisal. The management uses this system to obtain information about the employee's performance, often through questionnaire from supervisors, subordinates, co-workers, self-assessment and also the customers. Following that, a negotiated evaluation is a sort of appraisal that uses a mediator to help evaluate the employee's performance with a higher emphasis on the employee's better area of performance. Peer assessments also occurs when a team member, work group or a co-worker rates an employee's performance and has the obligation to deliver the rating. Finally, self-assessment is considered as one of the performance appraisal system in which employees judge themselves in categories such as work conduct, attitude and the job performance.
Hello, my name is Noorisa binti Muhammad Zulkifli. My metric number 287922. So I will present about company. Hematogenix Sdn.Bhd are the opening of the Central Laboratory in Clinical Research, positioning in Malaysia as the Asia Pacific hub. Hematogenix is a global clinical research central laboratory with a focus on oncology, or we call it cancer research. It has been in business in 2007 and it has been conducted in Selangor since 11 July 2017. Dr. Khairul Faizi Khalid, the person that we interviewed, said that vaccinations during COVID-19 like Pfizer, Sinovac and AstraZeneca, before being vaccinated to the people, they will build the test. He also said that when the site that have the new drug for the cancer, they in Hematogenix will be doing the higher bio testing. With a focus on cancer research and diagnostic, Hematogenix is a specialized chief risk officer (CRO) with a global presence. As been said by Dr. Khairul Faizi Khalid, said they will recover cancer sample from Japan, Korea, Taiwan up to Australia and New Zealand. They are also managing project from China. Hematogenix provide a wide range of service for the development and testing of biomarkers that help clinical trial in order to navigate the complexity of human disease and clinical trial. Hematogenix provide a variety of biomarker development and testing service. Job description for operation manager. Make sure that all operations are conducted in a suitable and affordable way. Manage from sorting, recruiting, training and supervise of the employee. Make sure performance of employee. Assist in keeping the organization's procedure compliant with the law. Analysis financial information and apply it to the increased profitability. Last, make review of the budget and inform upper manager of cost plans. An operation manager should have at least 2 years of excellent operation management experience. It also should have a bachelor degree in business administration, operation management or a closely related field. Excellent ability to manage organization, control over branch operations and customer service by assigning duty. Excellent communication skills, multiply years of financial and accounting report experience, trust, budgeting and management ability.
Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Aiman Afika and my metric number is 287095. Now I'm going to discuss the current practice of the performance appraisal system in Hematogenix Sdn.Bhd. Commonly, many companies practice annual, biannual and quarterly review. However, based on our interview session with Mr. Khairul, who is the Director and Operation Manager of Hematogenix, the company held the performance appraisal 3 times a year. The first review will be held in the early year when employers and employees make a planning strategy together for the company throughout the year. After the plan has been set out, they will establish goals to have a specific objective toward achieving the desired outcomes. The goal setting are made by both employers and employees. After that, Hematogenix will have a checkpoint conversation in the mid of the year. This is the process where the employer and employees discuss the employees' progression regarding the tasks they have planned in the early year. The discussion will include accomplishment to date, additional goals, issue or problems, priorities, and clarify performance expectation going forward. And the final review of the performance appraisal of Hematogenix will be at the end of the year, where the employer will assess and gauge the actual performance of the employees. In this process, the employer and employees will discuss the outcome of goals that have been set up by evaluating them and identifying adjustments that need to be made for future goal setting. Other than that, the employer will provide feedback by highlighting strengths and areas that need development. This can help in addressing the training opportunities or development plans to enhance the employees' growth.
From what we have discovered based on our interview with Mr. Khairul, the operational manager of Hematogenix, the company did not have a proper performance appraisal form, which is a crucial part to create an effective performance management system. So, our group would like to suggest to Mr. Khairul to have a proper performance evaluation form as part of the performance appraisal of Hematogenix. This initiative will help the manager to track their employees' performance easily and effectively, besides creating a more systematic performance management system. Every organization should have a performance evaluation form. Manager and human resource personnel use this for as an assessment to assess the employee's performance in a systematic and efficient way. Ratings and space for comments on the employee's performance are frequently included on the form. Managers will record the staff's accomplishment and contribution over a given time on the form as part of the assessment. The form will also highlight the employee's strengths and weaknesses points so that they can make an improvement to it in the future. Creating a good performance appraisal form, the employer should consider a few elements as part of the form. The first element that needs to be considered, which has become a compulsory element in every type of form, is the employee's basic information, such as employee's name and the position they are currently holding. The component are the accountabilities, objectives, and the standards that the organization wants to achieve from the employees. This part will need the manager to list down the expected versus the actual accountabilities of the employee. The form must have the competencies and the indicators that an employee needs to achieve. It will be measured using the rating scale that the management has set for each indicator. For example, a manager must have leadership skill, and to determine how strong the person's leadership skill, the evaluator will rate it from number 1 to 5, which each scale has been justified. Major achievement and contribution of the employee must also take to account in the appraisal form. This element is very important to see what are the contributions that the employee have given to the company to ensure that whether they have given their best performance or not. And that employee comment also needs to be considered to be put in the evaluation form, since they also should be doing self-evaluation. But not least, the signature of whom did the evaluation and the employee are compulsory as evident that both parties has contributed to the appraisal process. There are two more components that can be part of the appraisal form, which is the developmental achievement and the developmental needs, plans and goals. However, these two components should be included in a separate form from the other components. The step in the performance appraisal process is to establish the performance standard based on the organization mission and vision. The standard will be used to compare the actual performance of employees, whether the employees successfully or unsuccessfully do their work according to the standards set by the organization. When describing the standards, extra caution should be given if the employee's performance cannot be measured. The organization must set a clear, understandable and measurable standards of performance. Next, To achieve a good performance appraisal system, the manager must communicate the standard that they have set to the employees. It is a responsibility of the management to communicate the standard to all employees of the organization. The standard should be made apparent to the personnel and they should be informed. This will make it easier for them to comprehend their responsibilities and the precise standards that apply to them. The standard should be explained to the appraisers or evaluators as well. If necessary, the standards can also be changed at this point in response to pertinent input from the staff or evaluator. Furthermore, measuring the actual performance is one of the process of performance appraisal, where it also a main reason to establish the performance standard. Measuring the actual performance work of the employees is a specified period of time is the most difficult part of the process. It is an ongoing procedure that involves year-round performance monitoring. This stage necessitates the cautious selection of the most effective measurement techniques, taking precaution to ensure the personal bias does not alter the process conclusion, and assisting the employees rather than getting in the way of their job. Comparing the actual performance with the desired performance of the employees will need the management to make a comparison between the actual performance and the standard set by the company. The outcomes may indicate the actual performance is either higher or lower than the anticipated performance, indicating a negative variance in the organizational performance. It entails looking back on, assessing and analyzing data pertaining to the performance of the personnel. But not least, to complete the performance appraisal process, the management and the employees need to discuss the result together in order to obtain the feedback to improve the employees' performance or to reward them for their excellent performance. Managers should provide feedback on the performance review in a way that corrects mistakes made by the employees and encourage them to perform better while avoiding demotivating them. Tasks involve performance feedback need to be handled with extreme caution because improper handling could result in emotional outbursts. Employees should occasionally be ready before providing feedback because it may be perceived favorably or unfavorably depending on the type and attitude of the employees.
A competency is typically characteristic as a set of ability that a person show in order to successfully carry out the duty or responsibility while employed. Competency that should operation manager has. First is decision-making skills. Making decision is a key in operations management. Operation manager must be able to recognize necessary information and determine how different factors may affect how effectively their organization's operations. Their ability to balance various points of view, potential outcome or alternative strategy that can help they make a smart choice at work. They must make sure that all operations are conducted in a suitable and affordable way. Then, track and measure staff performance. Monitoring goals and obstacles for each team member help to ensure long-term productivity. As an operations manager, they must clearly define each employee responsibility and keep them updated on their progress toward the objective. This will ensure staff development in addition to making it simple for them to keep track of the skills level of their employee. To be clear, tracking and assessing each employee performance will provide them with feedbacks that help in their personal growth and development, which will ultimately benefit the company as a whole. It is also possible to use human resource software which contain information for training, evaluations and self-growth. The third one is leadership skill. One of the most important ability for an operations manager to have is leadership. Excellent management skills are necessary when dealing with numerous departments and formulating goals and plans. Strong leadership quality in operations manager prevent management from falling when dealing with difficult conflict situations, which is frequently occur within an organizations. Next, organizational skills. The quality of organizations and concern taken can have impact on successful operations management. To be effective in their work, they may also need to keep track of the project files and documents, as well as the budget and schedule. They may employ their keen eye for minutes detail and subtle shift to identify potential issues before they escalate, then come with solutions that keep their team and procedures moving in the right directions. They also must exist in keeping the organization procedure compliance with the law. Next, budget administrations. Operations manager frequently manage the company production costs, requiring for a knowledge of corporate economy and mathematics. As part of budget management, operations manager are tasked with tracking expenses and receipts, predicting future production costs and profits, and assisting finance specialists in the creation and submission of critical financial statements. Last is critical thinking skill. Critical thinking refers to having the ability to evaluate a collection of knowledge, critical and vicious judgment before taking a conclusion that will guide his decision making. An operations manager must sort through a mountain of data. They also must manage from sorting, recruiting, training and supervising the employee to make sure they are in good conditions for the organizations.
Now let's discuss the method we're going to use to develop the performance appraisal system. In order to have a good performance appraisal system, it is important to choose the appropriate method to ensure that the system is fair, objective, and effective in achieving the intended goals. Therefore, our groups has chosen the management by objective MBO method to develop a competency-based performance appraisal system for operation managers in Hematogenix. The reason we choose this method is because it is the most suitable for what Hematogenix is currently practicing. Since Hematogenix already practices the periodic performance review, the thing that can be enhanced by them is to implement the SMART goals method in their goal setting system. This will ensure that the monitoring and evaluation activities are focused and progress toward the goals and objectives can be tracked and evaluated. Other than that, according to the article in KISSFlow.com, this method is meant to measure the quantitative and qualitative output of senior management, which perfectly match for our planning to develop a performance appraisal system for operation managers. Moving on to the next reason, this method is ideal for a competency-based performance appraisal system because it focuses on specific behavior and skills that are necessary for the operation manager's roles. By setting SMART goals that align with the competencies required for the job, employees are held accountable for developing and demonstrating those competencies. Okay, for example, one of the operation manager's competencies is leadership skills. Therefore, the goal that has been set out for the operation manager might be to improve the subordinate productivity. So, by implementing SMART goals, we can assess whether the set out goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So, the SMART goals for the operation manager should be to lead the subordinate to increase their productivity by 40% before the end of the first quarter by reviewing their performance each month. This kind of goal fulfilled the SMART goals aspect, which will provide employees a clear understanding of what they should execute and achieve. Additionally, this method encourages ongoing communication and feedback between employers and employees throughout the year, which will allow the operation managers to continue to develop and improve their competencies. Last but not least, this method will foster a sense of ownership and increase employees' motivation to excel in their job as employees are involved in setting their own goals and evaluating their progress. After we have determined the performance appraisal process, competency to be measured, and method that we are going to implement into the competencies-based performance appraisal system for Hematogenix, we finally have developed a proper performance appraisal form for the Hematogenix operation managers. As we can see in this form, we have included all the important aspects that has been suggested earlier, which are employee information, goals review, competencies review, strength and training needs review, and comments and approval space for both employer and employees. All these aspects align with the performance appraisal system process, competencies, and method that we chose for operation managers in Hematogenix. By using the form that we have developed, Hematogenix can evaluate all the employer in standardized manner. Therefore, the information that employer gauge for employees' improvement will be much more accurate, which will make it easier for employers to support the employees and company's growth. That's all from me. I'll pass this presentation to the next presenter.
To conclude our presentation for today, performance appraisal is a very important part in the performance management system where it will help the management to prepare the feedback of the employees' work performance in order to help employees to improve their performance for the next term. Other than that, this performance also will help the management to determine the reward that an employee deserves based on their performance. That's all from us. Thank you.